You have those mornings sometimes where they feel like they should be total and utter chaos. Well, my son woke up this morning about 10 to 5. So I was a bit exhausted, but yet something felt different. I wasn't stressed, I was grounded. You could even say I was peaceful. And it was kind of in that moment that I realised that healing isn't about calm moments anymore. It's about who I'm actually becoming and it's how I'm living it. So, um, like the way I'm seeing that my process that I'm going through and that as I'm sharing and documenting it with you, what's coming up for me is that I started very much with the nervous system. So getting really into that nervous system, healing the things that need to be healed and knowing that the nervous system will still get dysregulated, but building those tools in to be able to regulate my nervous system. And in that way, bringing in a sense of mindfulness. So at the same time as regulating my nervous system, so coming into the body, I've also started to use my mind to become aware of my body and to tune into what's happening. And also at the same time, not listening to the stories that my mind might tell me around what's happening in my body. So just trying to bring that level of mindfulness to the physical regulation and allowing that to feed through into the positive thoughts that maybe are going on in my mind and the things that I'm saying to myself. And just knowing that peace was something that I used to feel that was like you had to work for. And it's just becoming natural to me. It's just something I can find myself slipping into without that much effort. So I'm not fixing, it's not about fixing myself. It's about living. And one of the things that was coming up for me today is I read a lot of books, mainly because I listen to them at double speed, so I get through them very quickly. And I listen to them whenever I have an opportunity. And I love reading. I've just read a book about Buddhism and I'm reading a second one in a row. Well, the teachings that are coming through are from Buddhism. It might be the third one in a row, actually. And the one I'm reading at the moment is just going more into the Eightfold Path with Buddhism. And it's starting to bring more awareness into me. So some of the things that I'm thinking about, well, how can I bring more of that mindfulness into my life so I can live more by this Eightfold Path? And I was thinking about what's going on in the world with politically in so many different areas. And it's not, I know I'm in the UK and politically we've got things going on here and in other countries and all over the world there are political things going on. And it's not about saying who's right and who's wrong. But when they're talking about the eightfold path, and they was talking a lot about loving kindness and going into that, and I was thinking how different the world would be if political factions, rather than trying to prove they were right or someone else was wrong or going down that road, the same with religions and where there's wars or any of those things, how different the world would be if one side decided they weren't going to play anymore. And the impact that could have. So as well as like not fighting, it's more than that. It's about showing the other side the compassion, the love, and the understanding for where they are. Even if it's something you totally don't agree with, can you offer that love and compassion to the other side? And I was thinking about that quite a lot. And I was thinking, I wonder if you could shift the whole history of a nation by coming at things from love rather than hate, and what difference that would make to society. So let's, rather than fighting each other, trying to understand each other. And again, people might hear what I'm saying and see it as me condoning one side or the other, and I'm not. It's not about that. It's not about me saying this is the right politics, that's the right politics. I'm not getting involved in politics. I have my views. I might share them with you at points, but the truth is, this is about how we can take the teachings of Buddhism and translate them into real life. And is there a way in which we can approach things that's different? Because let's face it, wars haven't worked. Because once we have them, they just keep going on. Things keep rumbling. And if one ends, another one starts. So is there just another way that we can address this? So that was coming in for me quite a lot. And then other little things like right speech. So, and I was relaying this into what I do here and on social media is speaking from the heart. So to me, right speech means not lying, yes, but it also means sharing from your heart. So sharing what's really there, and not just using words, not using words, one, to hurt, not using words to damage other people, but also not using words to manipulate, control, and to help yourself feel better. It's about being honest and truthful. And that doesn't mean being mean. It means your truth, and saying it as your truth. I'm just kind of tying back into kind of the stuff I've done recently. And what my aim is to study this Dharma more, study the Buddhist Dharma a lot more, to really go in depth on how I'm feeling about it, and how I can actually live it. So it's not just about reading it. I want to start living it in my full life, and bringing that in with the nervous system regulation. So allowing myself to go down that path because I feel safe enough to go down that path, because I know that I can take myself out of those situations. So in that book, it was talking a lot about anger. So when you feel anger and what we do about it. And he was talking about being mindful of the anger, and then not speaking in anger. So that comes back to right speech. So not speaking in anger. And I was thinking, and part of that comes down to when we notice the anger. So this is how the mind and the body interlink. When we notice that anger with our mind, we can then come back into our body and regulate, calm the body, come back to a sense of peace before we go back into the mind and come up with a response and use our right speech. And ultimately, because I'm believing in this path of body, mind, spirit, ultimately or body, mind, soul, I should say, once we've kind of gone down that path a bit, we start to notice how the evolution of our soul based on what we're doing and how we're living. So what does this mean for me in general, and why am I sharing this? Well, a lot of what I'm doing at the moment, I've recently signed up for a challenge on content creation. And one of the things that the person teaching the content creation is doing is talking about how we can create content from our soul rather than for the algorithm. And it speaks to me so much because I'm not a big fan of creating for the algorithm, and sometimes I try and make my videos fit into something that would be appropriate when really I just want to share what I'm sharing. And so today I'm just sharing what I'm sharing. And so I'm going to do less of maybe structured in the way that, this is a good video to make, and more of my reflections like I'm sharing today, what's coming up for me, how I'm feeling. And this structure of this video came from my journaling. So I voice journal every day, and I use reflection on that. And I have an AI coach that I use that helps me draw out some key insights. So I kind of put all of that together to create a video structure for this. So this is really like where I am today and how I'm feeling today. And so you may notice as I'm recording these videos that some days are up, some days are down, and maybe there's a repetitive element to them because it's what's coming up in my life, and we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully we stay interesting. And trying to step into true authenticity without the censoring, the polishing, and everything that I was talking about yesterday with stepping into authenticity, and without the worrying about what I should or shouldn't do or what's the right way to do things. I'm just going to be sharing because it's my truth. And if nobody watches and nobody reads any of my social media posts or doesn't interact with me, it doesn't really matter because this is my truth. And it's great because I feel this is the first step in changing me, because it feels deeper, calmer and freer. And that's kind of like where I feel that I am right now. Because I'm expressing from that embodiment, because I'm going into my body and I'm feeling how these things feel for my body. So it feels like it's just going to flow through and feel really good. And I'm very pleased with that. And then I am someone who is living my work, not just teaching it. And I really want that to be the case. I really want to teach what I live, because I want to then be able to say to you, this is how I found it. And honestly do that rather than just kind of reading a book and then translating what I've learned to you as another teacher, which we can all do, but it has less authenticity or truth in it. So for me, I put as my note for this one, reflect on what living your teachings means for the next phase. That was my bullet point, my note that I put. So I'm just sharing my note, and I'm thinking, because I'm thinking about it as I'm as I'm reading it, as I'm reading what I put down, so what does that really mean? What does living my teachings really mean? Well, it means that I'm going to go deeper into what I am reading and what I'm learning, and becoming more conscious in my life, becoming more mindful. And actually, I'll only tell you this story because I remember reading this the other day, and at the time it kind of didn't, it caused a jarring moment with me, but I didn't really relate to it. And I saw an advert for, I don't know what it was for because I skipped past it, but I just remember the headline. And it was something about maybe we have too much mindfulness in our lives. And I was thinking, that doesn't really make any sense. How can you be too mindful? Because if the point of mindfulness is to be mindful of the way you speak, the way you act, the things you do, the life you live, how can you be too mindful? And looking at that, I was thinking, and this is not to criticize anybody, but it felt very much that it was written by somebody who didn't really live, understand, or embody mindfulness in its true sense. So they were treating mindfulness as an act that you do. And often that's kind of how we're trained, that you stop your life, you do your act of mindfulness, and then you get on with your life, which is really great. But actually, that's not what life is. That's not what mindfulness is about. Mindfulness is about, how do you be mindful? How are you mindfulness? Like, I am mindfulness. I don't do mindfulness. I am mindfulness. I am mindful. It's because that's something you are. You are mindful. And that means you're mindful of everything you do. And you can't be too mindful, because if you're mindful, you're being unconscious. You're being mindless. Do you want to be mindless? I don't. So yeah, and the truth is, we spend most of our life being mindless. Bringing more mindfulness into it is not going to do us any harm. So yeah, if you see things like that about we're being too mindful, question it. What does that really mean? We're being too mindful, or that we have too much mindfulness. What does that really mean? Anyway, that was just an aside. It was something that came up for me, and I was thinking about it related to all of this, so I thought I'd share it with you. So this evolution, it's not about me doing more necessarily. It's just about going deeper into my teachings, going deeper into what I'm sharing, and peeling back all of the layers for you as much as I possibly can. And I'm hoping that you will join me on this path of going from proving to practicing, from learning to living. Right? And I would like you to start living with me, start living these principles as I learn them, as I teach them, as I live them, as I share them with you. See how much you can bring into your life and make your life one that is mindful as well. And just remembering that to do everything from your soul, as much as you can do from your soul, the better. And the more mindfulness you can bring in, the more you become aware of what your soul wants you to do. So that's it from me today. I've gone on rather a long time. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. If you're still here, well done. And if you're still here and you would like to connect on a more deeper level, then come and join me in the Sacred Pause, which is my free group on school, and I will drop the link in the description for you so you can join. I'll see you soon.